Welcome to the girls. I'm happy to be back. Jeannine, did you miss me?
I missed you. Yeah. I missed Gucci too.
Well, I was with Gucci, as you know, the past couple of shows. If you're watching the shows in order, I wasn't here, but for a good reason, because our little Gucci dog, our 7-year-old Bijan, went to University of Pennsylvania and had cataract surgery.
He's so cute.
He was blind from the cataracts. I mean, oh my goodness, it just broke my heart. So when we found that he was a candidate, after several trips, we went down, and it took several trips there that I missed doing the show, but I was doing 24-hour duty with my little Poperino.
He's so cute. Look at his picture, though. He has such a nice following. I called him Conehead for, I think, 2 weeks.
He does. He has
a little cone on his head. I felt so bad for him.
Yeah, he had to keep it on for a month. So we're going to have Gucci on with his doctor and another show, because everybody was so interested in everything that happened. A lot of people didn't realize that they could get surgery.
And a lot of people go through this with their animals. It's
yes.
Quite an investment, too, to keep up with your pet's health.
Well, it is, but when you get that love back and you see that it's just like a miracle that he couldn't see, and if you would have seen his face when he went blind overnight and he became depressed, and he was just like lying behind the door instead of looking out the window, which he did all the time. You drive past the house, you see Gucci looking out the window. So he wasn't there anymore. He was just like very, very, very sad. He wasn't playing with his toys. So once he went for the surgery, he woke up and he was like, oh my God, he was going in every single room. Yeah. So we'll talk more about that another time. But
a full show with him when we start our other season.
Yeah, we'll have one of his doctors on.
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. We just celebrated the holiday, and it's, you know, Black Friday time. It started shopping online and local, more importantly, right? We want to shop local as much as possible.
Why would you go anywhere else? You could shop locally, you could support the community, keep your tax money here, and we have a great mall, the Laurel Mall, and all the other merchants are all stocked and ready. And some of our beautiful flowers here from the season, these are unusual for like centerpieces. They are.
Oh,
they're little cabbages, and these are from Smith Floral in West Hazelton. They always do such a great job for every season, every reason, and they always do the set so nice. But these are really unusual. It's the green and purple cabbage that they grow. It's decorative, you use it outside, but look at Jeannine.
I know, I might be eating that later on the show, munch on that if we're talking about the healthy lifestyle today. We're talking about getting through those holiday months, and we have tips. We have a great guest with us. She came in, she's formerly from the Hazelton area, but she traveled in here and she hit traffic today. So she's been traveling all day to be here, and she's a holistic lifestyle coach. You know what that is?
Well, holistic means all natural.
All natural.
All natural. Well, this is natural.
Right.
And a lifestyle coach, I guess, would be to try and teach you how to live in a more, I guess, mindful way.
We're going to find out what that means, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Sara Burda is here with us.
Well, we have to get in training for the holiday season because we have the shopping, the parties.
Here's my training.
We have to open up all the gifts.
1 and 2. 1 and 2. And,
is that spiked eggnog in there?
I know. Right now it's just coffee, but I'll be hitting that at the 5 o'clock hour.
All right, well, grab your favorite beverage. Call your friends, like I always say.
It's 5 o'clock
Stay with us, because we'll be right back.
Guys, we're back here, and you're watching the girls, and happy Thanksgiving. If you're just tuning in, we have some holiday specials for you. And did you know that 90% of people who start a diet will actually regain that weight, possibly even more weight? And I know I'm sitting here telling you this right after Thanksgiving. You're probably like, oh, so slumped over and, you know, getting through the holiday season. But we're here, and we're going to talk with a very special guest, Sara Burda, who is a holistic lifestyle coach. She's actually from this area, and it's funny how we actually met, but first I want to welcome you to the girls.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
I've heard so many great things about you. It's nice to finally meet you, and I did follow some of your posts and whatever, but you know, as Jeannine mentioned, we're just coming off of Thanksgiving. We're into Black Friday, and a lot of people think, well, you know, Thanksgiving only comes once a year, so you do splurge on that day, but you know, if you splurge every single day, you end up gaining a lot of weight, right?
Right, and the tough time is between Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. That's almost 3 months of splurging, and that can pack on a lot of things fast.
Yeah, and the other thing is, now we're talking about holistic life coach.
Yes.
What kind of life coach is that? Explain that to me and the audience.
Yeah, so holistic lifestyle coaching, which is what I do, is bringing awareness to your body, mind, and spirit all as like one whole thing. So there's not just a weight loss component, but it's everything encompassing all into one.
Okay, so that means mostly dieting for health, being, I guess, more in tune with what you're actually putting in your body.
Right. Instead of just focusing on a diet, we're focusing on food quality, we're focusing on the mental behaviors and the behavior changes that you need to have in life.
What is the bottom line with how people should or shouldn't be eating?
Right, so sustainability, right? If you can't do something for longer than 30 days, which is what most challenges, quote unquote, are, it's not sustainable, it won't last. So as a coach, my job is actually to teach you how to keep it for long term, not just a 30-day program, and then after that, what happens? You usually gain it all back.
I was raised with a square meal. And there were certain portions on the platter that our parents made dinner, we helped prepare the dinner, and there was protein, carb, starch, and then we had fruit. So we always had everything included in a meal. That was way back when people used to sit down and actually have a meal.
Right.
So how has our lifestyle changed the way that we eat?
Right, so convenience, right? Convenience is the issue that we have now. A lot of people, they'll choose something fast and easy, which is usually a drive-through or something that you pop into the microwave, which doesn't have any nutrient density to it. And then after a while, they just forget about, making a square meal with your protein, carb, and fat, like you just mentioned.
Right. So how do you teach them then to break that cycle of what they're doing? Like where do we start? You just say, okay, stop this and you have to do this. It's like cold turkey sometimes, no pun intended with the turkey day, but
yeah, a lot of it is education, right? So in order to actually apply something, you have to learn it first. So I teach all of my clients how to take what they're already doing in their lifestyle and then incorporate it small, little steps. We don't just be like, you have to take away all your wine.
Never.
All the wine has to go away, because it's not realistic. Are you really going to take all of that out? No.
That's grapes, so that's a fruit.
That's right. But no, so we take little things here and there. Swap maybe, the chips for an apple, or, instead of drive through every night, maybe drive through 3 times a night or 3 times a week, So you kind of have to take those little steps, and that's how I teach. And then behavior, right? So if you don't have the right behaviors that come out of it, it won't last for a long time.
And we know that it is mental when we go on a diet, or what we eat or what we put into our body is it's all a mental thing, especially emotional for women. I could speak on, most of the women that I talk with when they're dealing with what they eat or why they eat it. It's really based on some of emotion and mental things that they have going on. And you find yourself in a pattern. And if you're sitting at home shaking your head, yes, that's why you need a coach, a holistic coach. Probably would be your best option, because when you go onto these restrictive programs, sometimes they're either not good for your body, or you fall into a routine where you're on that for 30 days or you're on that for 60 days. And then what happens when you go off of it? What have you learned from that process?
Right, and that's usually the first question that I ask people when they come to me. It's like, what was your dieting history like? And most of the time when I work with females, it's, well, I wasn't really eating, and if I was eating, it was like a protein shake or some kind of program that limited or restricted a whole bunch of food groups. And then they're like, but nothing's happening. Well, why? Well, because you just put yourself into a position where you downregulated your metabolism, and now we're stuck. So then what do you do?
So most people that you work with are under eating, and they're eating that 1,200 to 1,500 calories, and they're like, wow, do I have to reduce my calories even more to lose weight?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, so technically that would have to happen. Either you decrease it more or you add in more movement, which eat less, move more is not the best prescription. A lot of people hear that, right? Magazines will say, just eat less and move more. If you're overeating, eating less is probably the best idea first. Increasing your food quality is number 2, and then really diving into, like, are you getting enough protein? Are you eating too much carb? Are you not? And then that's how we work on things together.
Your background brought you into helping other people. Do you mind sharing some of that with us?
Sure, yeah. So part of the reason, the main reason why I even got into training specifically and working with women is because I did have an eating disorder growing up. I went through a big period of time where it was a struggle, and it was a lot of mental and emotional things that happened, but every one of those steps led me to where I am today. So my goal is to be an advocate for women, and that's why I work primarily with women, because I want to make sure that they have somebody to look up to that's not trying to gimmick them into a program, but they have somebody that actually went through something and understands the mental side of it, versus just here, buy this shake product and 30 days I'll see you later, you know.
Right.
And I like your approach where, you know, eat the cake, there's not one food that's bad for you, correct?
Correct, yeah, food is food, and I teach that to everybody. So you have to understand that what you put in your mouth does have nutrient density. So some foods are more nutrient dense than others, like an apple versus a donut, right? But there's room. You can put those in. Like, you can fit in that pizza. You can fit in, you know, your wine, your alcohol, your desserts. There's ways to do it. And even around the holidays where things happen, like, everyone comes to me and they're like, what do I do? Right? They're like, oh, it's Christmas. But there's also that Christmas party after Christmas, and then it's New Year's. So how do I fit this all in? And it's possible. You could do it. You just have to have balance.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times from hearing different suggestions, preparation and forethought, and being, you know, always prepared at home as well. If you feel like you're going to have an evening snack, maybe have that snack ready, so that you're not just like, oh, I think I'll just rip up the big family size bag of chips and finish that whole bag. So between the portion control and everything that you're going to teach about, I find that being prepared, just on my own experience,
Right.
It just helps so much.
Also, it comes down to understanding and knowing, like, what portion sizes really are. Like, nobody gets more frustrated when they actually weigh out a serving of peanut butter or almond butter and they're like, oh, that's what a tablespoon actually is.
Or
half a
if
jar.
you use Fitness Pal,
Yeah.
and you go on and you're like, oh, you know, those wings, high protein, can't be that bad, and it's 100 or it's 1,265 calories for 10 wings. I looked the other day, I almost pooped my pants. I said, holy moly, 1,265 calories for 10 wings. And it blows your mind.
Right.
And sometimes, you know, that salad, you know, might look healthier than that burger, but it really isn't. A burger and a couple tater tots was actually less calories and, you know, more than the salad with all of its trimmings. And
Right,
stuff. So
it's the sneaky stuff,
It
right?
is.
It's the little bit of the cod salad on top of the salad, and then the dressing that you pour on top of it, and you really just have to be aware. And that's where, like, education is always going to drive compliance. So you just have to make sure that when you teach about it, it's something that really sticks into behavior patterns.
Right.
Okay.
Well, we have so much more to talk about, so stay with us. When we come back, we have more to teach you about eating healthy.
What if I told you you can eat all this food in one day and you would still be maintaining your weight or losing your weight? You're looking at some of the dishes that I've been eating as I've been working with Sara Burda. She is a holistic lifestyle coach, and she's also a personal trainer, so she does both, working with what you're eating and also how you're working out. We're happy to have her on the show. I figured it was timely to tell her to drive on in. Where are you from? Where do you live?
Right now, Delaware.
They live in Delaware, and you're formerly from the greater Hazleton area, and it took you about 5 hours to get here today, it feels like.
That's what it feels like. My morning started at 5 a.m. training clients, and then I had to get ready, hop in the car, and we're here.
Nice. Well, my mom and I are happy to have you on the show. We actually met because I was scrolling through Instagram and I was reading some of your posts, and I found it engaging that you didn't focus on you can't eat this or you have to eat that. Your approach is more education and more of a mental state of mind, and that's how we connected. I found out you were from Hazleton when I asked you to be on the show. You're like, wait, you're from Hazleton? Or
Yeah.
So that's how we connected. It's a small world, but
Yeah.
and it's been fun working with you over the last couple of weeks, and I'm learning a lot. Definitely learning a lot. But I love how you balance that. You know, it's more of a mindset than it is what you're putting into your mouth, and whether you're trying to lose weight or maintain weight or just be healthy. There are reasons why clients come to you.
Yeah, most of the clients I work with too, like, the first step is the mental. It's what you think, right? Because anybody can follow a diet for so long, right? But then afterwards, how do you maintain that for the rest of your life? And what are the obstacles that are actually like keeping you stuck? Most people come to me, it's not about the food. It never is about the food. They have underlying issues deep, deep, deep that we have to like work through to get to where food is not the problem anymore.
What are some of those issues?
Mostly for women, it's going to be a sense of self-worth. And that's a lot of self-confidence issues that I deal with, because food is usually cover up in one or two ways. They either don't eat or they eat too much. So you have people that go all in both directions with that.
How does your program help them with not concentrating on the actual body image of how, if they're having an emotional problem to begin with, if they don't like how they look or they were bullied or something, how do you get them across that, where they're just concentrating on the nutrition, where they're always with that struggle with, but I'm going to gain weight. What if I gain weight? What if I gain weight? What if I look a certain way? So how do you accomplish that? That's so difficult.
Yeah. The next question is, so what if you do? Right? So what if you do gain a little bit of weight? Maybe that's what your body actually needs after years of you maybe depriving it foods that you actually like needed or wanted. You know, for a lot of females, it's that act of surrendering. It's giving up of something that scares them to actually move forward. And people forget that like you have to be willing to look internally and take ownership of what you're doing, which is so hard, right? They'd rather just start a program, fail the program, and say that didn't work for me, right? So then they jump onto the next one that comes out the next month, when really there's something like internal that's going on, not just external.
So is it some type of a control over their body that maybe they don't have control over anything else in their life, but they could control what's going in their mouth?
Or not going in. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a control thing. So a lot of women have that control problem, or they don't realize what they're eating, or even like what a macronutrient actually is. So that's where the whole education part comes into, because they'll tell me like, I haven't eaten all day long, but then nighttime comes and I'm like in the pantry and you can't stop, right? So what do you do? So it's that, why is that happening, number one, and why are you not eating in the morning, noon, and night? And then all of a sudden now you're binge eating. So why are you binge eating? So you have to really uncover all of those layers, and to get there takes time, right? It's not 30 days, 20 days. You didn't get here in 20 days. It's not going to be over, you know, in 20 days.
Another big thing that you talk about is this social media purge, which I love. I love it. What you're looking at all day long subconsciously does affect you. And if you don't believe me, try it. Whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, you're on Snapchat, or you're reading online, you're on YouTube, whatever it is, whatever you're surrounding yourself with, whether it be images, whether it be articles, look through those and only follow and look at the things that are good for your mind.
Right, yeah, so that was one of the biggest things that I actually did myself.
I love it.
After, so my background is I did bodybuilding for about 3 years, and I did well in it, but it consumed every ounce of me. So you're looking at, you know, physiques that are tip-top shape all the time, and dieting and all of this, and it was all too consuming. So one day I was like, no, gotta get rid of all of that, purged it all, and started like filling my feed with things that when I looked at it, I'm like, I feel good. If it didn't serve me, it was gone. And that's how you have to look at things. If it makes you feel bad, you have the unfollow button, you know, just unfollow it. You don't have to stay there.
So it does have a mental play on what you're comparing yourself to, which is unrealistic.
Totally true, yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because Instagram is a highlight reel, right? Like nobody's gonna post a picture of them when they first wake up in the morning, right? At least if they do, well, maybe you're following them and you'll understand, but most people are posting photoshopped images of what they perceive themselves to look like, and they don't look like that year round. And that's one thing that I learned is a lot of like the bodybuilders or even the figure competitors, they take multiple pictures when they're in shape and then just circulate them through all year round. So you don't see them what they actually look like when they're not competing, which when I competed, I didn't know that, right? You're just stuck.
What you're saying, and what, you know, especially women go through, and I want my daughter to be educated enough to know, because, you know, her generation's more on Snapchat, and, you know, when you swipe to the right, you're seeing the Kardashians, and you're seeing all this stuff that, you know, maybe you don't agree with how they represent women, but this is what our kids are seeing. So to put that into teaching your kids what you're talking about, and that's mind health, mental health.
Right.
And the holistic approach is very important for these, not only girls, but boys as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's where you come in, because if the mother reaches out, then she can then teach the children and be the example in the family. If you grew up in a family where, you know, the nutrition wasn't a part of it, I guess that would be very difficult for a girl to accept, because that's what she was taught.
And that's usually where it comes down to. There's a lot of women that I do work with that they're like, I need to make a change, I want to make a change. I see, you know, my daughter falling into the same footsteps that I'm falling into, but then the mother won't put themselves first. I'm like, you have to do this for yourself. And then they're like, well, I don't have time. We all have the same 24 hours in the day, right? We can just manage that time a little bit better. Or, you know, you still need to eat, so fill your plate with healthy food. You don't have to eat something that's fast food. And there's a lot of fast food options out there now that are great for you. Like, you can make a meal.
And follow, we're running out of time, but follow Sara Burda because she talks about, you know, a lot of tips on how you can make it easy, keep it simple, I think was today. Constantly varied nutrition. We gotta thank Dana Black, who's the company that you work for. She's sponsoring this show and our show on fitness. And Dana, thank you so much. I hope we can do more with Constantly Varied Nutrition. Look it up online and get to know this company. I have nothing but good words to say about working with Sara, and I hope to one day meet Dana as well.
Yeah, we're looking forward to your daily post for that daily affirmation that we need. Everybody needs to have that little pat on the back and the positive influence.
Yeah, and we'll be starting the lifting program, starting to run again. Those are my goals for 2019. I don't know what your goals are. You gonna run with me?
I do a lot of running around after my dog, and I take care of a big house that I clean, so a lot of people ask me how I work out. I like to walk.
There you go, that's good.
I just keep moving, moving.
Like to move it. All right, well, Sara, thank you for joining us on The Girls, and thank you, your husband is here with us as well. He had to drive all that time, right, Eric?
That's right, Eric.
Your limo driver.
Yeah.
Thank you for serving us. He's in the military, correct?
Yeah, he's in the Air Force.
All right. Thank you for serving our country, Eric. I'm looking at you right now, and that's our show. We'll be having part 2 with fitness coming up next week, so you know why it's important to be not only using cardio, but also lifting.
Yeah, adding in weight training.
Nice. Yeah. We're getting strong here on The Girls. What do you think?
I don't know. We'll have to find some muscles maybe that went to sleep.
All right. Bye.
See you next time.